Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on the time that you're watching this video. Hello, it is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, and I'm here again on Monday, a Blue Monday, with another episode of Podcasting Your Purpose. And today's topic is Leave Your Legacy with a Podcast. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today. There's so much going on, but yesterday was Mother's Day, May 10th, 2020, right? And so happy Mother's Day to all the moms, grandmoms, aunties, nanas, boo-boos, bays, whatever, whomever. You can be a mother, naturally, a mother adopted, a mother. Happy Mother's Day. I know it was different because of this COVID-19 pandemic. We weren't able to get out and about, but it was Mother's Day, and I have my sons here. And matter of fact, see this picture? This is my favorite picture of the boys. See that? Can you see that? Let me see, turn that there. I can't remember how old they were. But they're grown now, 27 and 24. But just because you're a mom doesn't mean that you don't miss your own mom, your own grandmom. And I started thinking, my grandmom actually, she raised me, my sister and myself, and she passed away at the age of 98 in 2009 on May 1st. This is the month that she would have passed. And I knew I was kind of feeling whatever. And I did stop down at the cemetery last week. But I miss her touch and I miss her voice. And had social media or podcasting been popular in 2008, 2009, I would have definitely been recording episodes so that I could listen to them now. I didn't have that opportunity. So today, I want to let you know that this is a great time. This is a great time to leave your legacy, whether you're leaving your legacy with a blog, which I talk about all the time, so that you have something that can be pulled from the cloud after you've passed through the cloud. But the voice, I really wish I could hear her voice again. Same thing with my sister. She passed away in 1992. If I could just hear her voice, it would make me feel better. Back in the day, we had the answer machines and, you could save the tapes, VHS tapes, you could hear the voice. But now we have podcasting. So if you are lucky enough to still have relatives, especially your elderly relatives, and whether they're with you in your home, they live around the corner, down the street, or in an assisted living, create a podcast. Use your phone. You can simply use your phone to begin a podcast, on Anchor FM or any other platform that you want, to capture, their voices, to capture their memories, something that you can share years and years from now, as you get older. So again, that's why I just wanted to pop in today. This is my mug. Today's mug is brought to you by World's Best Mom. My son gave me this. And you know what I love about this mug? Is it's the same on both ends. Now you guys know I'm left-handed, right dominant. So when I have my coffee, I'm holding it here, and 9 times out of 10, I'm more comfortable the other way. So today's episode is sponsored by World's Best Mom. At least that's what this one thinks. So leave your legacy with a podcast. It's really simple. It's easy to set up. Head over to Anchor FM. Download the app on your iOS or your Android device. Create an account. Now, what I like to suggest is if you're creating a podcast, title it, create a Gmail account that's the same. That way you can keep everything together, because once you start creating this podcast, you're going to want to grow this podcast, and you're going to want people to send you emails, and you want to have sponsors. So have an email box that's specific for your podcast. So if this is Tony's podcast, I should have tonyspodcast@gmail.com. That way, if I'm asking you, if you want to send in some information or, whatever the case may be, send it to me there. So My Gmail account is Delaware Blogger Podcast. So if you want to send an email, send it to Delaware Blogger Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, if you're interested in learning more about podcasting your purpose, remember, I have this book. This is a 42-page workbook. And in this workbook, it talks about not only what is a podcast, but why start a podcast. And today I'm telling you, start that podcast to leave your legacy. The power of podcasting. Not only is it powerful that your voice, but you're sharing with others. You're using your voice, your vision, your mission. You can literally change someone's life. How to plan a podcast. I talk about the scheduling, and there's one schedule on the back here. You can write out your episodes, your guests if you have guests, your topic, your pre-record date if you're going to pre-record on Zoom, your published date, the date that you actually drop that podcast, and did you create that artwork? That, remember, we talked about Canva. If you can't do it on Canva, I'm still playing around with PixArt, which is pretty cool. So I made some new artwork for both of my podcasts. My podcast on Anchor FM, let me show you, is the Delaware Blogger Podcast. And you can find that on, let me show you that. That is on Anchor FM, Delaware Blogger Podcast. And for my other podcast is, there we go. You can use that bit.ly link, or you can use the tinyurl.com/blog2, the number 2, profit. So, but today we're talking about leaving your legacy with a podcast. Again, you want to schedule it out. You want to put down the day that you actually release it, and how you are promoting it. Remember, you have to promote your podcast. Whether or not you have a blog or a website, you want to make sure that you are sending it out on your social media platforms. It is in your blog, it is on your website, and also newsletters are great. Emails are great, and just telling people that you have a podcast. Put it on your brochures, put it on your flyers, put it on your business cards. So you want to promote that as well. Within this Podcasting Your Purpose book, we're talking about podcasting promotion tips. See? Podcasting for profit, when you're ready to monetize and get sponsors. Podcasting hosting plans. Where are you going to host your podcast? My podcast is hosted on Anchor, as well as Elite Conversations, Real Life Talk, radio talk, and podcast. That's right, Elite Conversations, where I host it. But again, there are pages and pages, 42 pages within this book, and this is only $15.99, and you can get it on Amazon.com as well. But again, leaving your legacy with a podcast is wonderful, because you are speaking your passion. You are sharing your vision. You are creating a legacy for those that are coming up behind you. And if you want to get started, again, I have the 30-minute complimentary call, discovery call. We can talk about what it is that you want to talk about, setting it up. I'll send you a planner, because again, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I have a planner that will help you not only write out your title, your description, your date, the length of your podcast, how long you want to, have that podcast. 28, 30 minutes is the sweet spot. Are you going to be a solo, or you're going to do interview style, intro music, outro music? Maybe you want to have some mid-roll ads and sponsorships. Your schedule, that's important. Remember, get it in your mind when you want to do your podcast, and so that when you do your introductory or your trailer, which is going to be an introductory to your podcast, you want your listeners to know when they can hear your podcast. So decide on your target market audience, whether it's your family, your friends, whether it's other, people that are authors or producers, musicians, accountants, families, friends, whatever. Choose your target market audience, because these are the people that you're going to be talking to on a weekly basis. Come up with a title for your podcast. Make it distinctive. Make it your own. Make it something that you want. Talking about moms, when moms name their children, they think long and hard, because this is how that child's going to be introduced into the world for the rest of their life. So think about the title or the name of your podcast, because that's how you're going to introduce your baby, your podcast, to the world. Come up with your description, your summary, what it is, net it out. What is it that your podcast is about? What are people going to be listening Two, what are they going to hear? And make sure if it's rated G, R, or X, because again, you can say and do whatever you want. Gary Vee drops the F bomb all the time. I can't listen to him. But you want to make sure that people know that it's clean, or if it has dirty words, because they don't want to be listening to you in the car and they've got the kids in the back seat and you're dropping the N word or you're dropping the F bomb or whatever. So make sure you let your listeners know that this is clean, or this is, there's going to be language, or you're going to talk about violence, or whatever the case may be. Put your rating on there as well. Come up with that hook. What it is. That's also part of your description. Think about that hook. How are you going to get people to come in? What do they want to listen to? What are they going to be hearing? Create that image. You can create that image on Canva, Trello, PixArt, or you can hire someone on Fiverr. People do, artwork, easy breezy. You can come up with something 3,000 by 3,000 pixels. But if you want to pay somebody, go to Fiverr and find somebody, get a reference, and get your artwork done, because you want that to be pleasing, and you want that to bring people in to listen to your podcast. Again, we like bright, shiny objects, so that's what people are going to be looking for. A good mic. People say have a good mic. Okay, so I always started out with my phone, and then when I started out my phone, then I ended up getting a condenser mic. This one here, it plugs right into my smartphone. I also have the Yeti mic. I also have another mic there. And that also, all the equipment that I use is also in my book. So you can check out the what I use. I'm not going to tell you to get something that I've not used myself, but I want you to find what works for you. There are so many other mics out there. People are going to tell you that this works, that works. But in the Podcasting Your Purpose workbook, I list out everything that I use. The headphones that I use, the Blue Yeti mic that I use. I don't even know how to pronounce it. The manual podcasting mic kit, I have that over there. The condenser mic you see right here. I have the lavalier mic, and I have this box here. And I also have, again, another portable sound booth that I purchased and I put up yesterday. So I'm going to work on that as well. Record in a quiet place. If within your house, you can't go into a closet, go into the bathroom, or create that fort. Remember, I said get those 2 chairs and put a comforter over and get up underneath there to block out the echo. I'm in my office right now. It's a standard size room. I'm pretty sure I could be in a smaller room, but again, that's where I do mine. I'm not having a lot of noise, but if my husband or my son's upstairs with listening to movies, I ask them turn it down until I finish my podcast. So want to do that. Editing. Again, do you like your ums, your ahs? If not, use Audacity for a PC and GarageBand for a Mac. Now, I'm going to check out Audacity. I don't know how to use it, but I'm going to learn it this week. So I'm going to check that out, and then I'm going to come to you and tell you what I thought of it and how it works. If you're going to do solos, if you're going to have a guest, if you're going to have a call in, how are you going to do this? Are you going to do it on Zoom, especially now that we're social distancing, or you're going to use another platform? Remember, you can record with friends using Anchor. I have found it not to be as reliable as I want. But again, that's also in my Podcasting Your Purpose workbook about recording with friends. And actually, Anchor is trying to make that app a little bit better. So that's in here as well. But I like, excuse me, hold on, Monday blues. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So if you use Zoom, that way you can record them and then you can upload, you can convert it from an MP4 to an MP3, and you can do it that way. So it depends on, your recording, however you want to do it, and then set up the feed, your RSS feed. But with Anchor, it uploads to 11 platforms, Anchor included. So it'll go on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Castbox, Radio In, all of those. And again, that is a great way to start out. And I'm looking forward to connecting with a client this Friday to get her started on her podcast, because she is going to create this as not as an addition to her already established brand. So remember, podcasting can be something that is complementary to your current brand. It can build onto that brand, or it can create a whole new brand for you. But today we're talking about leaving your legacy with a podcast. Again, happy Mother's Day to all of you moms out there. And then for all of us that have missed our moms, it would have been so nice to have had a podcast. So if you still have your mom, your grandmom, your auntie, your nana, whatever, start a podcast. Leave that legacy, because way after they're gone, you're gonna miss their voice. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in the Podcasting Your Purpose book, if you're interested in the basic blogging tips for beginners. Yeah, that's why I talk about that on my Blog Your Way to a Business Profit podcast Wednesdays at 1. Send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com. We'll get you your copy out. Remember, the book bundle is $26. Free shipping. I have to get to the post office this week to send out one. So if you're interested, let me know. I've got 5 bundles left. So send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com. On Wednesdays, make sure you tune in to Blog Your Way to a Business Profit. There's the URL, or tiny URL /blog, 2 profit. Okay. On Anchor FM, I am the Delaware blogger, DE. That's me, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. So check that out. And you can find and follow me on all my social media platforms, Linktree at Del Blogger. So again, whatever you're doing today, make it a beautiful Monday. If it's not a blue Monday, make it a great Monday. The sun was popping out here in the beautiful state of Delaware, the blue diamond state. And until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social, because I will see you in cyberspace. See ya. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. Have a beautifully blessed Monday. Bye-bye.